What's up, YouTube? Guerrero here with Black Magic, Don Mega, and Litebrite. So, the first four started. We're coming late with our brackets this year, but like I said, the first four have already kind of done and played. But we're gonna start with the rules. We get points per game per round. The points go up because the reason for this tournament for us is that you don't want to come in last. Basically, loser has to suffer a punishment chosen by either us three winners, or maybe if you guys have suggestions in the comments, we might take your suggestion. But
No, 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 no.
the first round, the first round and the first four are kind of like just 1 point. So these games are kind of not a big deal. It's when we get to the later rounds, when we start going to 10, 25, 50, and 100 points and so on. I'll put a picture up real quick to show you how the points are gonna work. But all right. So real quick, we're gonna start with Don Mega's bracket because hate to say it, Don, you lost 3 games this first 4 round. Out of the 4 games, you lost 3 of them. So what's your thoughts going forward? I don't really see you having anyone kind of going much further than this. Anyways, you had them losing the first round regardless. So are you stressing it a bit, or you kind of just like letting it slide by because it's only 3 points?
And I tell you what, Roro, this is just a minor setback for a major comeback. Honestly, man, I still think my bracket is so solid. Yeah, some mishaps happened in the first couple rounds, but overall, I still think that my bracket's pretty solid, and I think that my Final Four is going to be on point. And my Elite Eight, K-State, let's go, baby. But other than that, man, I'm not really worried about it.
Okay, so speaking of K-State, I feel like is that kind of like your Cinderella story? They're not
Yeah.
that low of a seed anyways, but I mean you got them going to the Elite Eight, so you got them going pretty far in this tournament.
Well, we had finally won the Big 12 championship this year. We did have to share it with Texas Tech, but we did win that instead of KU winning it every year like they usually do. And last year we made it to the Elite Eight, and I just feel like this year we're gonna either make it to the Elite Eight or the Final Four. But I got them going now versus Tennessee in the Elite Eight. I just have a lot of faith in Tennessee. They got a lot to prove. A lot of people were talking down on them when they were ranked #1, like they shouldn't be and all that other stuff. But yeah, K-State is kind of my Cinderella story. Yeah. I think we're gonna do good this year.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch over to Black Magic's bracket real quick. So Black Magic, me and you tied on this first 4 round. We both got 3 wins and 1 loss. So I mean,
hmm
do you feel like that's an advantage going in with this 1 point advantage over these guys, 1 to 2 points?
I mean, it's only a point. I wouldn't say it's necessarily much of an advantage because it's anyone's game,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say, no, it's not an advantage. It's not an advantage. I think both of us, this first round, this first points, we're starting to gather like how the tournament feel is gonna be like. But after like the first full round actually goes, then that's when you can determine who has the advantage and who doesn't have the advantage. Because it's only been 1, 2, 3, 4 games, so you can't determine who has the advantage after only 4 games.
Yeah, that's true. I see that. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
yeah. I hear that.
But in your final four, Black Magic, you got all the
hmm
#1 seeds now. That's not very common to happen. That's a go big go home kind of deal right there. Because the
hmm
final 4 games and the Elite Eight games, that's like 25 to 50 points right there. So
Yes. Yeah, that's 25 to 50 points. The reason I have all four #1 seeds going to the final four is because I see, like, throughout the tournament being close games. I see games being like, I see being close games throughout the tournament, but I don't see enough competition to give these #1 seeds out or to knock them out. I mean, there's some sleepers throughout the tournament, but we really don't know who the sleepers are.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know,
So I
you know.
mean,
So I
looking at
mean,
your bracket,
hmm
so you really don't have much of a Cinderella story. I guess if I was to say a Cinderella story to
it'd
make
be
it to
UC
the,
Irvine.
well, not just them, but like to make it to the Elite Eight. Looking at your bracket, you have all the number ones and the number twos going to the Elite Eight, except in the South. In the South, you got Purdue going to the Elite Eight, winning over Tennessee.
hmm
So, and I mean, they're number three. They're not that low of a seed, but I mean, I guess that's your only one that's not a one or a two going
hmm
to the Elite Eight. What do you see in Purdue that Tennessee doesn't have?
Defense,
Okay, fair enough. So
defense.
defensive game there.
Their defensive
Okay.
game. Their defensive. The way Purdue plays defensive, like their man-to-man defense is just it's like it's on par. And then when they play zone, it's just like a lot of teams struggle against zone defenses, but when they are man-to-man up front with you, they are a hard team to beat. And then on top of that, on the other offensive side of the ball, they could they could put up points. They average about what? I want to say like 60 something points a game.
Yeah, they do average a good deal of points. I'll give you that
hmm
one.
Yeah.
All
And so
right.
that's why I picked Purdue to go all the way to the Elite Eight.
Okay.
And as much of a, it's not that low of a seed, but it's a number three seed because I have number ones and number twos going all the way, you know. But yeah, as far as the Elite Eight, yeah, Purdue in the South.
All right. Cool. Cool. Okay. So All right. So let's get to the big one here. There's a big. So as we're recording YouTube, I should mention that the St. John's and Arizona State game is going on. Now, there's only about 2 minutes left. The score is 66 to 57, Arizona. So, Litebrite, let's bring up your bracket. So, let's talk about the very thing that's probably going to stick out to everybody now that I just mentioned what we were watching, and that's St. John's. That was like your Cinderella story going all the way to the Elite Eight. That's a lot of points.
Light break. Can you turn that down in the back though, real quick?
That was that's a lot of points you're gonna miss out on if they can't pull this out in the last 2 minutes here, which is kind of probably not gonna happen. I mean, how do you feel about that? That'll give you
I'm
your.
not worried.
You're not worried. I mean, that's a lot of points right there. That's a big amount of points.
Not really.
So I mean, with St. John's out, you're losing maybe what one, two, about 14 some odd points there, just because
Yeah.
they don't go to the Elite Eight now. So I mean, but you also have in your final four, everybody can see that you got three number ones going, which I think a lot of us do have number ones going in the final four, a lot of them. So I mean, I guess you don't have to really worry too much because you got Gonzaga beating St. John's anyways in the Elite Eight. So are you hoping that the I guess Gonzaga is the only thing that can really save you in the West region right now, right?
I mean, yeah, and on top of that, I also got Oregon going all the way too, which is another Cinderella because none of you guys even have Oregon making it that far.
That's true,
Hey,
but
light. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on.
you don't got Oregon going very far. Or we don't have Oregon going very far, but you do got Oregon going to the Final Four. What do you see in Oregon that's better than some of these other teams?
I just think I can't think of what his name is, but this kid that plays on Oregon, like he's ridiculous. Like he can shoot the three, he can play, like he can assist the ball. Like he's just a really good facilitator, like on the court. Like I can't think of what his name is, but like he's a baller, and I think he's gonna lead Oregon all the way to the Final Four.
The Final Four, huh?
Okay, all right, that's
That's
fair.
interesting.
That's fair. All right, YouTube. So with my bracket, as you can see, You can see that me and Black Magic pretty much went the same in the first four. All of us lost the NC Central game, but that was our only loss for me and Magic. But I mean, I really didn't have much of these first fours going anywhere, anyways, after this round. And I really don't have much of a big Cinderella story at all. I mean, I got Florida State going to the lead eight. So I mean, it's not a big deal there, but I got Villanova going pretty far in the South too, to the Final Four. In fact, because I think out of the four of us, I'm the only one who has two number one seeds in the Final Four, and then I got Michigan, and then I got Villanova in the Final Four. Because just based off statistics and seeing how some of these teams plays and where these teams are in the bracket, seems like I feel like they have a better chance of making it further than others. But so real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and throw all four of our brackets up, and you can see on all four that we all have Duke winning. So basically, what it comes down to is that it really doesn't matter who wins the championship in this, because we all have Duke winning. If Duke goes out, we all lose on that 100 points for sure, and whatever else we have them. So we really are kind of looking at these other teams where, in Litebrite's case, his two big teams were Oregon and St. John's. St. John's is out, but he still got Oregon in. You got Black Magic with having all four of the number ones going in, and Purdue going pretty far. And then in Don Mega's case, you got Don Mega got Tennessee going further and K-State. So I mean, we all have our own little picks that are really going to matter that's outside of the East, because the East is kind of a no-win for any of us. A lot of us have the same teams going pretty far in the East. So we really got to keep an eye out on the South, Midwest, and West for a lot of us. So, I mean, with that being said, Google, these are our brackets. They'll always be up here. You can always refer back to them, and you'll see the point system, and you can see who's in last place and who's in first place. Because like I said, the point of this is whoever comes in last has to suffer the punishment. Punishment can range for almost anything. Our imagination is the limit at this point. And we can have some serious fun with some of these guys if they come in last.
Just wait. Just wait. I know I'm not losing. I know I'm about to have y'all doing something crazy. They're going to have to tune in for that one. But that one's going to be great.
We'll probably come back. We may end up coming back on an update video after we'll probably wait until after the second round. We'll do the round of 64 and round of 32, let those games play out, because I feel like that's where we're going to start separating from each other, is when we start getting to the Sweet 16 games. So we'll have to come back, YouTube, but just wait for that. Wait until after the 64, and you'll see where we're at. We'll see who's in last, and we'll see who has to start sweating a little bit and worry about getting this punishment dealt out to them.